I'm kicking off. Okay. Welcome, patrons, to another exclusive paywalled episode just for you of the Conditional Release program. We have a lot of things in the pipeline for you, and this is one of them. Medical bloody bleach, which is, of course, ridiculous.
Of course, it's ridiculous, and we love to bring this ridiculous stuff to you, to our wonderful patrons. One of the more bizarre rituals in the pandemic world has been the efforts to try and remove a COVID vaccine from one system. Faced with vaccine mandates or simply just being convinced by the science, people have later fallen into deep rabbit holes and suddenly been convinced they are part of a vast conspiracy to depopulate the planet. Great. Got to get rid of that virus, right?
Look, I mean, the vaccine's poison. It's an experimental jab, blah, blah, blah. So the first one was pine needle tea. This is fairly innocent. You can buy this shit on eBay. It's hard to know whether this is an existing thing in the alt health world. I think it was. It's claiming to be full of vitamin C and antioxidants.
Been around for a while.
At $20 for 100 grams, this is not a cheap way to get two very basic things that are found in almost bloody everything.
Look, I got two 10 metre pines in the back of my yard there, mate, and really,
business.
I'm throwing out about 4 cubic tons of pine needles every year. I should be making a quid out of this.
It's basically a Bitcoin mining factory in the back of your house.
Gee, really, I really got to get smarter about this stuff. Look,
absolutely.
That being said, Morgan C. Jonas could definitely do with a cup or two of pine needle tea.
Absolutely.
Just get that scurvy, moving around, I always said, just cut him a lime, for God's sake. Suck on a lime, son.
It's all he needs to do. Seriously.
Stop eating 2-minute noodles. You're rich now.
Yeah, you got money.
Clive money.
Money.
Put some lemon or lime on the schnitty. He buys you for breakfast. But do keep your hands and feet away from his mouth while he's eating.
They will be munched.
Yeah, Clive knock over 4 schnitties, and if he sees yours and you're not tucking into it quick enough, he'll have it.
I tell you, if he's had a bad sleep, he might actually see you as a schnitzel. Like in those dream sequences in films. It's fucking possible.
If he's really hungry. Yeah.
No, if he's really hungry, and he's always really hungry. So what they're after is something called suramin, which is apparently found in the pine needles and conveniently extracted and sold by grifters. And guess who's behind all this nonsense? Judy Plandemic Mikovits.
Yes, we know her.
Yeah. So she's pushing this bullshit. And the sales pitch claims that, and I'll quote, "This antidote to the vaccine, which has been known by the upper levels of the medical establishment and insiders of the elitist class for almost 100 years, I bet you Hillary Clinton doesn't know what the fuck this is called suramin. It is only available by injection and has been a closely guarded secret, made openly available to the masses during this, inverted commas, pandemic."
Yeah, it's an inverted commas pandemic.
Yes, exactly.
It's not real.
Yeah.
But I just love this idea of a guild where, they're just sipping on pine needle tea and going, thank Christ I got rid of those vaccines. While the masses are walking around literal, bio time bombs.
Exactly. I love the idea of Barack Obama doing it, with his great voice and his
orating
thing. Oh, yes, of course. No, he went. He went to the Great Purge. So, look, this is sold in ampules for injection, and it must be administered by a nurse or a doctor, or, let's face it, your mate that you just met at a bush joint or some shit, because that's how these people fucking work.
He'll hitch up for no.
Exactly.
How much is it? These pine needles? I got 4 cubic tons of them in the backyard. How much are they knocking out? How much are they knocking out the pine needle tea for, Joe?
Mate, if you can make an injectable format of this and you can extract the suramin from it, $1,774.99 US dollars. And that 1774 does not feel like a fucking coincidence.
Why can't they just round that up to 1775, Joe?
Because they're Americans, dude. Yeah, they're Americans. Yeah. Do you get your penny change?
Well, yeah, you think you're saving money. And
you're not, though.
$1,774 on the pine needle extraction.
Snake oil. Just pure fucking snake oil. It's so dumb. So interestingly, suramin is actually being looked at as a treatment for symptoms of autism spectrum disorder, which is one of those things that I found researching that I just wasn't sure what's going on. I couldn't be bothered going into it further because it's not that funny, but it's an interesting side note. I'm really skeptical of this because the cookers are all over it. They love talking about autism, but they are doing a trial on it soon. It may have promise. Maybe they just need to silence idiots like the NMR thing where they had to do a massive trial to tell people to shut the fuck up. But the comments in anything to do with this are so sad because you've got these people with these non-verbal autistic kids who are looking for something to help their kids, sort of find their voice. And they're getting fed $2,000 vials of pine needle nonsense.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I hate this.
And look, some may remember the cooked clown on Telegram who started drinking cups of vinegar to reverse the vaccine which he had ingested. I remember laughing at this.
What a fucking idiot.
He ingested via a capsicum projectile from Victoria Police. They were sending out that COVID mist even then, Joel.
Absolutely, that's right. It was the taste of the sky. It was so peppery.
So he was just necking dangerous amounts of vinegar.
What a fucking moron.
to get that vaccine off him. It was just a mountain of stupid. But, he was genuinely panicked, and he actually, for an anti-vaxxer, he actually did the research, He was asking his friends on social media, what do I do? And they're going, mate, what you need to do is drink dangerous amounts of vinegar.
Yeah. Dangerous amounts of vinegar.
He thought those cheeky coppers got him with the vax, and he was not too happy about it, not too happy at all, and got straight on the vinegar. Straight on it. Shitload. I can't remember how much, but it was. You just looked at it and went, "Oh, that's dangerous."
It was like 3 litres over like 2 days. It was fucking insane. So, other home remedies to what is generally safe and effective vaccine, I don't need to tell you guys, I'm preaching the choir, are bullshit bars, and that's what they call them. But let's face it, that's what they are. This one is from osteopath Dr. Carrie Madej. I looked that up. I think I pronounced it correctly. A bullshit peddler who I actually hadn't heard of until I looked into this, but she sucks, man. She has 44,300 followers on Instagram.
Oh, my God.
It is amazing that she hasn't banned Zuckerberg. Come on. Like, you banned her, calling little cunts.
Yeah, I wonder if is she a medical doctor? Did you look?
Nah, osteopath. Always an osteo, always a chiro. Come on. This isn't your first podcast.
Yeah. Well, she recommends baking soda and Epsom salt. I mean, it's one of the things. Baking soda is just this. It's just become this sort of universal panacea, and you can also clean your fridge with it.
Yes, it's very useful stuff.
You just use baking soda, vinegar, and Epsom salt. She recommends baking soda and Epsom salt, not vinegar. A bentonite clay for fungus and yeast, and a whole cup of borax for nanotechnology.
What?
Scrub down. She says 20 minutes, as hot as you tolerate it, right? So burn yourself.
Yeah.
Get that 4 or 5 layers of skin burned off under scalding water, and then go the baking soda, Epsom salt, and a whole bunch of other shit. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
It's fucking ridiculous. She says the baking soda and Epsom salt is actually for radiation, and I just don't know how she made that connection. There's no existing thing in the planet that makes that make any sense. It's like eating shungite and expecting your phone to still work. It's just so silly. So this cocktail of nonsense is being sold in the form of bath bombs by various hippie bullshit stores online. One of them was called Mother's Earth Detox, which just sums it up. Like, it's exactly what you expect, right? It's just got all the buzzwords that make everyone happy. It gives these people these health boners.
But it's Mother Earth, isn't it? It's not Mother's Earth.
No, that's the thing. That was what was so great about it. Mother's Earth Detox. And there was no apostrophes or anything. It was just Mother's Earth Detox. It was actually all one word. So I put in the document as 3 words. But
punctuation.
Yeah, they're fucking morons. So basically, people are being reported to be encouraged, at least, to use syringes to remove the injection. Like, I don't know how they're doing that. Like,
it's perfectly safe.
Like, just like drawing blood, but also apparently just to slice open the injection site, presumably to bleed out the jab.
Like this sort of 19th century
that's
recipe for snake bite.
We learn about this in school. Like, they used to bleed people. And we look at it and we're like, oh my God, that's really silly. And then in 2021, full circle.
Leeches.
Yes.
Chuck a couple of leeches on your face,
dude. I'm gonna quickly look that up. Keep going, but I'm gonna quickly look that up.
Leeches are bound to be there somewhere.
Oh, they're fucking gonna be.
Look, obviously, the main motivator behind all of this is the grift. It's all about the $1,750 for pine needle extraction. One article which has a long-winded and insane explanation of how to reverse the vaccine using various supplements and products conveniently lists them for sale. At the end of the article, of course they do. They suggest that vaccine toxification is for life.
Yeah.
And it cannot be reversed. But It can be treated. And these people take issue with the way in which Big Pharma prefers treatments to cures as they bring about long-term returns as opposed to short-term gains. And yet, given the chance to profit, they do the exact same damn thing.
Same thing.
It's like, we can't cure you, but you're going to have to buy more of our shit week in, week out in order to keep that nasty vaccine at bay.
Oh, completely. It's like, it's the same shit. Now, one thing that I will say is that I did a quick DuckDuckGo search, and look, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but on face value, I can't see anything about using leeches to detoxify from vaccines.
Well, not yet. Only a matter of time. That's my tip. Leeches will be there sooner or later.
I absolutely reckon that'll be the case. To be honest, I should start selling leeches. So there's a hilarious side note to that website that I was looking at, which is the product brand they were hawking on the page was called Shillingtons. They love calling people shills for Big Pharma. How about shills for fucking Joe McColla's bullshit? So they're not just happy to target terrified people and their self-interest. They're going after their best and probably only at this point friends, targeting pets with bullshit vaccine detox tinctures. And you can, it's so predictable because everyone's going to, I would spend $100 on the dog and I would spend 50 on me. Like this is,
that's how it works. I mean, this is
grift.
This is why pet care is sort of
it's a classic grift.
$multi-billion industry. Yeah. And so obviously this is where this sort of anti-vax supplement movement was going to go.
Totally, and it's so unregulated. So they had this one website in New Zealand that was selling the Vax Detox Kit Canine. Yes, that's how it was worded, which claims, quote, it can be used as a detox kit for dogs that have had bad reactions and vaccinosis to their vaccinations, or it can be used as a support detox after a dog has had their vaccinations. Okay.
That was what I was going to ask. I mean, obviously the dogs, you're not taking your dog down to the injection center to say, hit it up with some Pfizer, please.
No, not quite. But there's parvo, there's all sorts of stuff.
So parvo, dog flu, cat flu, those sorts of things.
All that stuff. Yep, all that sort of stuff.
Oh, my Lord.
And the reassuring thing is they've said, and this is another quote, this kit has been developed by a full qualified animal homeopath.
Oh, well, that's okay then.
It's okay because they're full qualified. Qualified bro.
He or she has put in the hours.
Yeah, absolutely. A recent graduate, but a graduate from Wolf University, a doctorate in barking studies. It's great. Like, I mean, fuck off.
Oh, they can talk to the animals, yeah.
And this is great because in an example of, let's face it, it's basically having one's cake and eating it. They claim in bold text, the whole thing is grey until you come to this. And it says, quote, note, this product will not remove any of the benefits of vaccinations.
It just takes out the bad stuff.
It just takes out the bad stuff.
Oh, well, that's fantastic because, it's actually quite important to get your pets vaccinated for the various illnesses they can catch. So it's nice that you can spend an enormous amount of money to give them stuff that will detox them, but still keep them protected.
It's great. You don't want to have your dog to have autism.
And you can detox your canine or your feline for the low cost of $71.50. I think that's the dog rate, and that's in New Zealand dollars, which is I think it's about 12 seashells.
Yes.
And a 1968 2-cent piece.
Don't they use Bitcoin now? I don't even know.
No, look, the Kiwi dollar's actually going pretty well.
Yeah, it's really annoying. It's probably about 70 Australian dollars.
It costs you $70 plus postage, I reckon.
Yeah, well, that's about it, and that's no good. But let's face it, it's just water. It's just water in a drop bottle.
We ought to get some in and send it down to the boys in the lab.
Yes.
Get it chemically tested to see what's in it, because it would be pretty funny.
They did say it's homeopathic, and say what you want about homeopathics, you can't really detect them. Whether that's related to anything or not is a whole other story.
It'll be mainly water. It'll be pretty much more so than the human body. I would say it'd be a sort of 95% water.
Yes, exactly, and 5% fragrance.
Yeah, let me know about that, Joel. I'd like to have a look at that.
I'm not spending $70 fucking dollars.
No,
I don't care how the New Zealand dollar's going.
We don't want to encourage these people at all.
I don't want to spend the money. Like, patrons, your money is not going toward this. I promise.
I'm certainly not paying the nearly $1,800 for the pineapple extraction.
No, I know.
To send that off to the boys in the lab.
Absolutely not. So Jerry Choate on Twitter tagged me in something really fucking ridiculous, discovered by the brilliant Brandy Zadrozny, who I've been following for a while, and she's just excellent when it comes to QAnon crap. Basically, she's discovered yet another bullshit anti-vaxxer cure-all type thing, which is magical dirt called
Magical
Boo.
dirt.
$110 a pop. $110. And
How much dirt do you get for $110?
I think it's like a saddy type thing. I think it's like 100 grams. Like it's a really small amount. And it's basically just peat bog put in a bag. And they call it a gift from the ground, which you can wear, drink, and bathe in. Like, what?
$110. If you pop it in the bath, that's it. You're not getting it back. I mean,
yeah, no. I guess
you're going to have to pull the plug at some point.
Oh, you could reuse it, I'm sure, mate. You know, just put it in a garbage bag and save it later. Fucking disgusting.
Oh, very expensive. Apparently, all ages can take the mud.
So all ages can take it. Animals can take it. Honestly, Lindsay fucking loves rolling around in stinky shit. She loves bird poo. That's what she loves. She's totally into it. She actually rolled in human shit a while ago because Glebe is Glebe. That was fun. So she would be stoked to get herbally enhanced by some stinky peat bog. She would be stoked.
It's worth testing again, Joel. I mean, basically, look, you know the dogs and cats too, for that matter, have really, really great olfactory senses compared to them.
But the problem is that what they use them for.
When they see a bit of dog shit on the ground, they just go bang straight, rub that round the neck, and then run straight up to you and go, how good's this?
Yeah, basically, shit is like Chanel No. 5 to these things, and you just have to accept it as life. You have to wash them when you get home. It's a fucking pain in the ass. So, look, this boo shit has been a massive hit with the usual suspects, and I must say, notably within the severely brain-damaged MMA crowd, who just never disappoint to fall for every single fucking scam.
Yeah, you can see them going for it. Of course, the magic boo dirt, mud, is only sold through a multi-level marketing scheme. That sounds about right. Yep. Would you like to buy some of my mud? Would you like to become an ambassador for mud sales?
A mud ambassador.
Under me. Joel. Yeah, so you wind up having girl boss supermums making their kids lather themselves in fucking mud to take photos smiling and saying how cured their diabetes or their ADHD. They actually claim that this shit does cure ADHD in sort of roundabout way.
Yeah, they fudge
But that's
the words.
what MLMs do. They make content based on lies.
That's it. Like, all the people selling it just like go, oh my God, I got to sell stuff. Hey, Fred, come over here. I need...
Got a garage full of mud.
I need you to bathe in mud so my idiot friends will buy it. So, look, the content isn't just limited to social media. They have a fucking magazine called The Bog.
Of course.
It's so good.
It should be in your toilet too. That should be reading material for your toilet.
Absolutely. You can really process a lot of concepts. So, like, we'll post the article on the shitposting site because I think it's really funny. And this is another thing that I really liked about this, which is they call the CEO and founder the Mudman.
He's the Mudman.
And what it looks like, and I'm just saying this based on what I'm seeing here, it looks like he just gave himself the nickname because that's just what a person who would found a company like this would do.
You can't give yourself a nickname, Mudman.
I'm the Mudman. Call me the Mudman. I'm the Mudman now.
We're not
calling
calling
the
you
Mudman.
Mudman. We'll call you Shitman.
I'll pay you to call me Mudman. I'll pay you money. I'll give you some mud. What a cock.
But the kicker with this bullshit is not that it's for idiots and not that it's another MLM scam, but that the magical dirt is actually fucking toxic.
I love this.
They source it from a site right next to a giant landfill tip, and tests show that several samples exceeded lead and arsenic limits. No, that's not good.
That's not good.
Lead, arsenic, not good.
It's not good at all. So basically, you can see a general trend here. The amount of petty, shitty cash cow cures being hawked by idiots is just endless. This is a fun list. It was almost just like the top 10 things. The thing with Boo, Jerry sent it to me. Also, Celery Sorbet sent it to me as well. It was one of those really popular ones. It is a gorgeous story. But we could go for days. We could Joe Rogan this shit. We could just do 9 hours of waffle on this. Of all the absurd vaccine detoxes that he would probably believe in that exist on the market. And they're all for a price. One of them, this is my favorite. I'll just give you this one, which is there's a frequency. You can play from your laptop or cell phone, as they put it, to boost your immune system. And they say this after they tell you that cell phones emit frequencies that harm your immune system. Like, pick a lane, guys. Pick a lane.
You've actually got to give them money before they give you the frequencies.
No, they give you a free one, but then you've got to pay to get more.
I see.
Yeah,
I was thinking they'd almost forgotten about the grift there, but yeah.
Oh no,
no, they've got that covered.
No,
but the real vaccine detox is collecting dust under your bathroom sink. It's the real one. Yes, we're talking about bleach. And why is it collecting dust? You ask, because Joel is a filthy, filthy man who never cleans his bathroom.
That is bullshit. That is bullshit. I love the smell of bleach in the morning.
Splash some of that stuff around. Give it a little bit of a slurp too, just to knock back those toxins.
It's got that health smell, you know. Actually, no, it doesn't.
Chlorine. Yeah.
I tend to avoid it if I have to do a bleach run, because for some reason it's just, it's that time. Otherwise, I'll go the normal bathroom soap, thanks. It just seems a little bit toxic. That's why, because it just seems a little bit fucking toxic.
Yeah, look, just as an aside, I have to use a sort of bleachy type product. It's a lot of mums will have used this. It's called Milton, and it's often used for babies' bottles and things like that. And I have to keep bits and bobs stored away in a big Tupperware in the bathroom, and
interesting.
I couldn't figure it out for a long time, and I'd just get my t-shirts back from the wash, and there were splotches of just like I've been playing with chlorine, which I do for the pool anyway.
True.
So I started getting so careful about chlorinating the pool that I'd almost go and do it naked, so I wouldn't splash my clothes. But I was doing it with this Milton, which will just take the colour straight out, and virtually every shirt I own has a splotch of faded chlorine on it.
That is very good. Well, at least you're not injecting it.
No, I haven't got around to giving it a good slurp yet.
No, not quite.
Yeah, well, it's because the most alarming way to treat COVID and supposedly purge the deadly experimental bio-vaccine from your system is injecting bleach, which has not only been adopted in Bolivia in South America, but become a mainstream treatment which is administered in fucking hospitals.
Yeah.
So the Bolivians have taken a leaf out of the Donald Trump colouring book.
Wish they would.
You remember that? If only we could get it in the skin, under the skin, yeah.
It does miracles once it's in there.
Yeah, so he was big on the bleach and the UV light. He was, I think we can do it. I think we can get it under the skin.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but
with people from the CDC just looking fucking horrified around him. What the? But anyway, in Bolivia, they've gone for it. They've gone for it. I think Trump's right. Let's get some COVID patients in here and get them sucking on some bleach.
It's quite terrifying how far this has gone. Yeah, so basically I was like just doom scrolling Twitter and saw a Vice piece on injectable bleach in Bolivia, which I had to click on. This led me to a whole other bunch of articles on Business Insider. And I'm just going to say, this whole thing, I'm just going to generally give you the caveat of I'm not sure who copied who. There is a massive amount of overlap. In this script, I am stealing from both. So, but brought together, this story is just too fascinating to ignore.
Even-minded stealing.
Exactly. I steal from everywhere. So a lot of this bit, majority of it, comes from the Vice article and the accompanying video, which we'll post in the shitposting group for those who want the wider story. They did some really good work here. They did some on-the-ground work, so I know they didn't steal that. Well, I think they didn't steal that. But it's a truly bizarre story.
And it is a true story, yeah. And it might sound like some kind of wild friendship, but it turns out Bolivia is pilled as fuck. The country's government legalised the production and sale of chlorine dioxide last year as an alternative treatment for COVID. Like Trump said at the time, you got to get it in the body. I think we can do it.
That's how you do it.
They're actually doing it. It's not a joke over there. It's not a right-wing, left-wing issue either. The Socialist Party is in power in Bolivia.
The Socialist Party.
So it's not the work of Trump, but the work of anti-vaxxers, an existing set of grifters that claim drinkable bleach, otherwise known as Miracle Mineral Solution, or MMS, have jumped on the COVID train to sell this ridiculous idea to willing idiots. It could easily be argued that without Trump, MAGA cultism and the partisan nature of anti-vax discourse in the USA, this could never have flourished. But it ain't Trump. It's genuine Bolivian grifters.
Well, actually, the grifters come from outside.
Well, yes, there's some of that side, but it's been grifted into Bolivia.
Yes,
and specifically, one grifter in this case, Andreas Kelker. And Kelker is a self-described researcher. And I'm doing the inverted comma thing here with my fingers. From Germany with no legit qualifications. He claims to have a degree from a university that basically doesn't exist. So Kelker describes himself on his Instagram profile as Chief Research at Swiss Centre for Scientific Research, Innovation and Development. Ooh,
it does
fancy,
exist.
but when you do a Google search, nothing comes up.
Yeah,
So
it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. So he's made it up, and he's got it on his business cards, and that's about as real as it gets, because anti-vaxxers lie.
That's what they do.
In an interview on Bolivian television, he claimed of the Bolivian health ministry that, and I quote, "Through not giving the substances, they're responsible for genocide." There we go. There's some lovely hyperbole from our anti-vaxxer mate there.
Like reading from a script.
He added, "Also bear in mind that further censorship of chlorine dioxide use will no doubt lead to many more deaths, and all this will become genocide. Genocide is a crime with no statute of limitation."
Oh, fuck off.
Well, neither's murder. It's just lots of murder, isn't it? You fucking idiot. And all those responsible for it will eventually be held fully accountable.
Yeah.
Ooh, there we go. Sounds a bit like Nuremberg, doesn't it? The true catnip of anti-vaxxers worldwide.
They fucking love Nuremberg.
They love Nuremberg, and they don't really know what happened at Nuremberg.
They don't really get it. They don't get it at all.
Kalka teamed up with a bunch of wing-up doctors and created an organisation called COMUSAV, COMUSAV. It translates to the World Coalition for Health and Life. Terrifyingly, they are led by a paediatrician, Dr. Patricia Kalisperis. Kalisperis claims that the injectable bleach has an, and I quote, oxygenating action at a mitochondrial level. That sounds like a sort of lot of bullshit from a 1970s laundry detergent ad.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a pack of
bullshit. Yeah, and perhaps with the exclusion of mitochondrial. But yes, oxygenating. It's just getting in there and removing stains, those ugly stains from your shirts.
Fucking idiot.
Kalka and Kalisperis have been used as expert testimony in the process of legalising the use of the substance for COVID-19. And this is a similar thing to what we saw in the Supreme Court challenge to mandatory vaccines recently in Australia, with Buckley's lads trying to get Geert van den Bosch, the anti-vax veterinarian, and Christina Parks to be considered expert witnesses in the trial. It was
so painful.
These people are literally known as disinfo peddlers.
Oh, it was so brutal hearing them saying, we're going to bring in these expert witnesses. By the way,
we've got a vet who doesn't like vaccines.
We've got a Dutch vet, and we've also got this school teacher who did a PhD 30 years ago. And the government barristers were just like, "Are you serious?" It was ridiculous.
These are your experts?
Yeah. It was bad.
And like most grifters, Kalka makes his money from speaking engagements and consultations. It's not all roses for Kalka as, in a rare moment of natural justice, he's been charged in Argentina. Germans and Argentina got a long history going back. Got to get through Odessa first, and then you're in Argentina.
Yep.
With the illegal practice of the medical profession and selling fake medicines. You can't do it. If the offences result in a person's death, they carry a maximum sentence of 25 years. Sadly, he's up for the full 25. Why is that sad, Joe? Anyway.
So sad. So sad.
His bullshit advice has been found to be responsible for the death of a 5-year-old boy. Imagine that. Multiple organ failure. And his parents gave him the treatment.
Imagine being responsible for that.
That's sad.
I mean, seriously, 25 years is not enough. That being said, I think he's old enough for that to be the end of him. So I'm looking forward to seeing Kalka go down in fucking flames.
Yeah.
So Vice News reported this on October 8th with the story of Grover Lopez, who spent 12 hours connected to a chlorine dioxide IV to eliminate the metals from the COVID vaccine. His doctor told him were wreaking havoc on his body. There's no metals. So Lopez said he was sweating out a metallic scent, which made him optimistic that it's working. That's not good. Metallic scent. That's not good. So this is due to the belief that what the chlorine dioxide is an oxidizing agent which will oxidize the heavy metals in the vaccine and then allow them to be excreted by the body like some rust or something.
So you'll just start sweating rust. Is that
basically,
what they say?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's the thing. Anti-vaxxers always mock us.
None of this is making any sense. So there's no point applying logic to certain parts of it.
No. But when we get a bit sick after the vaccine, and you sort of have a day on the couch or something, and the anti-vaxxers are always like, "Oh, that's how you know it's working because you get sick because it's toxic."
And smelling those metals,
mate. You fucking morons think smelling metal is how it's working. So I'm not taking a page out of your book. So the anti-vaxxers convince people that the vaccine will kill them, that it's a depopulation program, and of course they've made a huge mistake. And once they get pilled on this bullshit, they pay this quack to inject them with a sterilized homemade bleach solution to remove the vaccine, and of course they call it detoxifying. They're injecting toxins into their bodies. They're calling it toxins. It just... So that's obviously completely insane. And to note, it's not only to prevent and cure COVID, but like we were saying with the oxidizing metal things, it is, once again, it's to combat the so-called toxic effects of the vaccine. It's got a whole range of absurd claims attached to it. And if they're not being detoxified, they say they're getting oxygenated that makes them feel better. Just anything to sell you injectable
and removing
bleach.
those ugly stains.
Let's face it, my teeth have never been cleaner. So all of this is completely nuts. And this is just them making shit up. It's a sales pitch. And it's like we're in the 1500s, like we were saying before, like you bleed patients to remove the ailment. Like how many of these people actually come around before they wind up really sick, and how many just end up being fucking dead? Yeah. So some of the true believers will delay COVID treatment in a slightly more formal setting because they're waiting for the bleach to work. So their condition deteriorates. They just simply take more bleach because they think, shit, I'm getting a bit sicker, better take more bleach, better not go to hospital. Apparently the ventilators kill you. Then, of course, they die.
That's exactly right.
Which is ridiculous.
It's like our mate with the vinegar. He didn't feel right after 24 hours, so it was more vinegar.
More vinegar. It's the
Don't
only
go to
answer.
Hospital. Just drink more vinegar. Drink more
vinegar.
bleach. Yeah.
Drink fucking. So this has to be placed in context to a certain extent, which is the fact that the hospital system over there isn't as crazy world class as ours is. Like they're overwhelmed by COVID, absolutely. And there's not as much money as New South Wales has in its coffers. So while people would laugh at the idea of bleach here, our other option is world-class healthcare. Over there, you're lucky to find a bed or, where are the ventilators? So in that context, you can see the vulnerability of these people to these quack alternatives.
And a lot of distressing sort of Mexican television on, if you're in
yes. What, Telemundo or something it's called?
I don't want to be there.
No.
The US FDA, Food and Drug Administration, warns that drinking it can cause fatal respiratory failure.
Yeah.
That's death.
That's not good.
That's what you call death.
Yeah.
That's one form of death. I mean, if you have respiratory failure, fatal respiratory failure, you're dead.
Yes.
And heart arrhythmia. And if you have a lot of that, you're dead too.
Yeah.
Among other life-threatening conditions. I don't really need the specifics, though. Injecting bleach is just bad. I mean, you just think about it as bad. There's a reason why we keep it in the laundry closet collecting dust. It's because, we don't keep it in the pantry. When I go, look, I'll just make some pancakes, grab me the bleach.
Yeah. It's just not.
A Bolivian doctor said a chlorine dioxide is a very toxic irritant, sort of like gasoline. When you administer chlorine dioxide intravenously, patients begin bleeding through their eyes and through their bladder. And out of the 5 COVID patients he had treated after consuming chlorine dioxide, all 5 had died, bleeding out of their eyes and dicks. You want to know why that's happening? People, that's because of basically the bleach is just breaking down organs.
Yeah.
It's breaking down membranes internally, and that's what leads to the hemorrhaging.
It's just so fun.
I mean, despite this fairly grim reality of the treatment, lawmakers have passed a bill legalising the use of chlorine dioxide to treat COVID. This is in Bolivia. Even the health ministry there warned that the substance was dangerous, but it still passed both houses.
Yep.
The ruling party, the socialist mob we were talking about before, known as the MAS, has shown that being batshit insane and completely irresponsible is not actually monopolised by the radical right, but the extreme left like to join the party as well. They even campaign on a platform of legalising the treatment, which is partially responsible for a landslide electoral victory. Bolivia is completely cooked. Get back on the cocaine, you clowns. Come on, you got it everywhere.
Honestly, it's between bleach and coke. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
And Bolivia would have this sort of self-assurance that they no longer have. This kind of fake self-assurance.
Yeah, that's it. I'll go to fucking Kiko's ass.
Bolivians will be very think themselves articulate while everyone else is going, what the fuck is that guy talking about?
That was you babbling in the hospital, just talking to each other about COVID. Great.
Redundant.
Mate, if I'm going to go out, I want to go out eyes fucking wide open.
Yeah, not
strung
bleeding.
Up to the gills
not
on
bleeding
coke.
from the
not
eyes.
Bleeding from the eyes, no.
Don't want that.
So Grover Lopez, who we mentioned before, the 58-year-old former accountant, well, he's probably going to form a person soon. He explained his decision to get chlorine dioxide intravenously because as the COVID vaccines began rolling out, he started reading on the internet that they contain graphene oxide.
They don't.
Some of you will know this graphene oxide shit. It's
no
just
graphene oxide.
It's not a thing. But of course, we've all seen that sort of stuff, not just on Telegram. I've seen friends mention on Facebook. It's a really popular idea. The bullshit just churns through. And Lopez sought out this specialist treatment after he was vaccinated because of all these insane reasons. And now he's going to detoxify. But by what? Like chugging some fucking Domestos, right? Like
chugging Domestos and giving the back of his throat a good scrubbing with the brush.
And the thing is, he's actually doing it. Like this is like injecting IV drips of fucking bleach.
It's completely nuts. But, people are getting killed on this stuff. I mean, this whole idea that metals exist in the vaccine, that's been going on for years, and it predates all the COVID vaccines.
Well, there's the mercury things with thimerosal and stuff like that.
Thing there. And one of these things is that you need to detoxify, remove these metals from your body. Look, the entire thing is a grift, and the most bizarre thing about it is that it's not a desperate last resort for a poor working class. It's a goddamn status symbol in Bolivia. Elites are drinking bleach. They're walking around with stubby holders.
They are.
A bit of a bleach and just knocking them back. Look at you, poor bastard. You can't even afford any bleach.
You can't afford any bleach.
And they're popping it up on Instagram.
Yeah, it's fucking
The doctor
insane.
administering the IV bleach said she was overwhelmed with patients seeking a so-called detoxification services. She charged around $150. It's Australian dollars for a 3-day course of intravenous chlorine dioxide. That's a lot of money in Bolivia, where most people earn around $700 a month. I'm at my limit, the doctor said, adding that 4 vaccinated people arrived daily seeking chlorine dioxide injections. She's just churning these people over, all to make some sweet money. It's not just her doing this. It's a commonplace tradition over in La Paz, the capital of Bolivia, where graffiti reads, "No to the Jewish vaccine." There's that Jewish connection again, Joe.
There it is.
Yeah, and one man who makes and sells the injectable bleach is clearing $12,000 a month in Bolivia.
And the thing is that's not Australian, it's US dollars. That's right. It's
no, my lord, is it?
It's a US article.
So you can do the conversion. Slap, Joel. But anyway,
so it's
a large amount of money.
It's a lot of money
in Australia, let alone Bolivia.
Yeah, that's it. And, it's fucking ridiculous. So the thing about this is that it goes back further than Trump. We like to laugh at Trump, and it is funny. But people that follow QAnon or listen to QAnon Anonymous or generally just on the outskirts may have very well have heard of Miracle Mineral Solution, which is this drinkable bleach that was pushed heavily by Jordan Sather, this Q influencer flog. He's a fucking idiot. And this goes back to the mid-90s from this lunatic named Jim Humble, who used to basically prescribe drinkable bleach to cure malaria. Pretty common malady over there, which is really problematic. And it just fucking went from there. And then, it just became everything.
He was Pentecostal as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. He's a massive happy clapper. Yeah. And basically it became a cure for cancer, AIDS in Africa. It went all through Latin America, so I guess there's probably a residual idea from this. And it worked really well because people bought it. It didn't work for them.
No.
He wound up in Florida. And that's it, of course. He started up this cooked evangelical church and just routinely poisoned people in the name of health. So the laws on selling supplements in the USA are incredibly relaxed. They're so relaxed, you can almost get away with selling drinkable bleach. It is not only drinkable, by the way. Parents were told by Humble to give children with autism Miracle Mineral Solution enemas to cure them of their condition. Fucking shit you not.
Can you imagine the internal injuries? I mean, it's just staggering.
Awful.
Look, one thing we haven't really touched on is that when Trump did make his, if we could just get it into the body somehow, comments about bleach and UV lie, that came in the wake of 3 days earlier a Q post, which said exactly the same thing. So
interesting.
Very.
I bet they love that.
Was.
It's a Q proof. It's a Q proof. Like
and
3,000 Q drops. He had like 3. Yeah.
Not for him. Not for him, the science. Hell, I'm just reading Q posts.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's our determining White House policy on a pandemic.
Ron Watkins. That's who's determining White House health policy.
Probably be back in 2024. Anyway.
Oh God, no.
Meanwhile. Bolivian doctors are exhausted. With a population of almost 12 million people, they've had 505,000 cases and 18,811 deaths. as of writing this, with lawmakers backing this ridiculous bullshit injectable bleach treatment, with even judges mandating the treatment when a hospital refused it for a COVID-infected patient, it looks pretty fucking grim. They're
really fucking grim.
It's not as if things are going to get better. They're going to get worse.
No, and this is the thing. It's like, it's not just Bolivia, of course. This is happening all the time. Big shout out to recently deceased Austrian anti-vaxxer Johann Biaxics, who died from COVID, refused medical treatment, and instead drank bleach. So yeah, he's dead. I mean, well done. Despite literally dying from COVID, a horrible, breathless death, the Pilled family are true believers, and this is the quote of theirs for the death. Officially, he will be included in the statistics as a victim of the crown, but I know better. Fuck off. You don't know shit. Idiot.
So it looks like all these things are going to be around for a while, Joel. I might have to start extracting pine, or might have to start extracting from the pine needles. How do I do that, by the way? Just jump up and down on them for a while?
I don't know. Ask Judy Mikovich. She'll fucking tell you. She'll probably charge you for the information.
Seriously, if you live in a post-truth world, and that's where we are,
it is.
This sort of shit becomes commonplace. This really dangerous stuff, basically where you will take an alternative treatment that any sensible person, you don't even have to have a background in chemistry, would look at this and go, Jesus, this can't be right. I'm not doing this.
That's it.
But people are doing it.
I'm not a full-on, I've said this a million times, I'm pretty pilled, really. I don't have a massive aversion to a lot of natural remedies, and I don't think everything needs to be fucking clinically tested for it to have some kind of anecdotal evidence that, maybe it kind of works, but they're not going to spend $1 million proving it. I get that. Dude, don't inject bleach. That's simple as that. There's just no way around this. Do not inject bleach. Or, let's face it, nebulized hydrogen peroxide.
If you do, you will die of massive internal organ failure, and that's basically because the membranes within inside the body just break down.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. Yeah. It's meant to clean things, including clean you of any sort of life force.
Homemade Ebola.
How fucking stupid. So anyway, that is one of the first sort of deeper dives we've done for the Patreon. Thanks, guys, for supporting us so much. We hope that was worth you $5 a month. We're going to do more, though. We're going to do
there'll be lots more. Lots more. Don't worry about that.
There's so much in the pipeline. We are going to get to a point where you'll be swamped with content and you'll tell us to slow down, and by God, if you do, we'll listen, because it's been a long year. But we thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for your support. Yeah. And
thanks very much. The take-home message: don't drink bleach.
Don't drink bleach or inject it.
Certainly don't inject it.
Don't inject it in your eyeball.
Don't do that.
Gross. There's other soaps. Just use other stuff.
Look, I've had lots of things by catheter, but bleach ain't one of them, and don't do that either.
You've had too much by catheter. Thanks, patrons. See you later.
Bye.